love. She's like.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for doing this today. Today we're going to be going over some World War I and World War II technologies. This is going to help you guys with your little project and your world history packets that we've been going over, all right?
Okay.
So, some of the first things that we're going to notice are small arms. Does anybody know what small arms are?
Yeah.
What are they?
Small arms is a figure of smaller weapons to
Okay.
be used in battlefield
In combat.
In combat. Good. Because can anybody give me an example of a small arm? Other than these. A handgun. Okay, good. What else?
Probably what they
Yeah.
said.
What else?
A shotgun.
A shot. Wow, you're so good! Okay, so
Wait, do they have to be guns?
most of the time, yeah, they are.
Focus on like pocket knife.
Pocket knife. Okay.
Hand grenade.
Hand grenade. Okay, very good. All right, so a couple of big examples from World War I are shotguns, machine guns, and flamethrowers. Okay, so shotguns. Has everybody seen a shotgun before? I'll show a picture in the next.
Question mark?
No question mark. You've never seen a shotgun.
I
before.
just see guns and I'm like, they're all the same.
Okay, great. All right. So, shotguns were used for the first time, basically in combat during World War I. Okay, the last time that we kind of saw something that was even similar to a shotgun being used was in ship-to-ship combat with pirates. All right, on the Caribbean.
Pirates
So-
existed?
Yes, they do. You didn't know they existed.
No. I
All
thought
right.
Yeah, it was a,
That's a lesson for a different time. Lesson for a different
it was a
time.
blunderbuss.
A blunderbuss, very good. So that was a single shot, just shot a whole bunch of these big
Yeah.
giant lead pellets out in every single direction. These ones are much more accurate and they hold up to 6 shells, okay? So when you're fighting in like a trench, okay, those are very, very tight quarters, all right? So if you're running up with all your friends and there's a whole bunch of enemies in that trench, what do we think is gonna happen when you have a shotgun?
Rotted.
Everybody's gonna die. Bam, 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 bam. See? Very effective for the time. Other big thing that we start to see in World War I are machine guns. Now, during World War I, machine guns had crews of up to 5 people working on them because they're huge. They're big giant weapons with big giant belts with 250 rounds on them, okay? And those are all being fired off at the enemy, okay? So, after World War I, we start to develop a lot of smaller machine guns like the Thompson, okay? And I have a couple of videos that I'm going to be showing you guys in a few minutes here. But the Thompson is basically just a shorter version of one of these big giant machine guns that one person can carry. So it changes the battlefield forever. The third one is probably the most brutal, flamethrowers, okay? These things could shoot flames up to 330 feet. And when the flames interacted with air, it would light it on fire, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind when we're listening to the World War II vet. Yes, it is. And guess what happens when you're in an enclosed space and you light it on fire?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of videos and pictures. So in World War I, this is what a trench gun would look like. It's basically a very short shotgun, okay? And then on the end here, what do we think this is right here?
A knife.
It's a big, giant knife. It's called a bayonet. So when trench warfare was going on in World War I, these guys were in these really, really tight corridors. So when you hop in there, you're basically fighting with swords and everything in between. So when you ran out of ammo, you just start stabbing people, okay? In World War II, we see a lot less of trench warfare. So we see the bayonets start to disappear and get a little bit smaller because the battlefields are getting bigger, okay? Now this next video is of a World War I machine gun, okay? And I want you to pay attention to how slow this one fires compared to the next one, all right?
It is cool, but
Okay.
it's slow.
So we see how this is like on a big giant tripod right now?
Yeah.
This is why crews had to be up to 5 people because these things are heavy. 2 people would carry this, the other guys would carry the ammunition and the big giant machine gun here. All right, in real life, that's about this tall, almost as big as I am.
Okay.
Now, we're going to compare this to one of the most popular weapons in World War II, which is called the MG42. This one was used in World War I. The next one was used in World War II. I want you to kind of name some of the differences that you notice between these two.
Oh, I know.
Dang.
Oh, that's a huge stick.
Okay.
Okay, so after we saw all of the, or like the difference between these two, what did we notice?
They have to take out the actual barrel because it's getting too hot from
Yeah.
rapid fire.
Very good. What else did we notice?
It shoots
One looks
faster.
slow and this one looks.
A lot faster.
A lot
Okay,
faster.
It's bigger.
it's bigger. Okay, yeah.
They have to like beat the bullets into it so that it
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
it's on a belt. Look at the difference in the magazine on this one. It's just a little stick, okay,
Yeah.
with a whole bunch of rounds on it. This one
You have to
has a
hold
whole
it.
belt.
Yeah.
All right, these would usually come in big giant drum mags or boxes that are up to this big, okay? In the big tanks, they put these on the little support turrets at the bottom so they could also be effective against infantry, but we'll look at that in a little bit. All right, and then here is, now let's get that, where's the video? This is a World War II flamethrower. So these kind of go, I didn't have footage of World War I flamethrower, but anyway, these are kind of the big picture that we get to see with these flamethrowers.
This was cool.
Oh shoot.
Oh.
And that's on the low setting.
Get out of here.
So now we're going to listen to a little bit of an account from a World War II veteran who actually used one of these on an island called Iwo Jima.
Oh.
It was one of the bloodiest battles in the Pacific.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So I want you to listen carefully to what he has to say.
It was 12 seconds of rapid fire.
I was issued a flamethrower. My job was, of course, to knock out pillboxes, burn them out. With a straight shot, full force, you'd probably get 65, 70 feet. You have 6 to 7 bursts. That's all you've got. If you held the trigger back in 15 seconds, you're empty. The only thing that I would think of is if they shot me from the back and a round hit between the tanks, it would get right through into my back. But if it hit those, they were oval, so it would probably ricochet off.
Now, does anybody know what a pillbox is?
Good
No?
shit.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
pillbox was it was a certain box that was used for infantrymen in World War II that was used to support higher ground
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
shooting.
Very good. Awesome. So
Oh, yeah.
pillboxes are like these defensive structures, okay? They're
Like
usually
a
made out of
ground shield?
Huh?
Like a ground shield? Like it's on the ground, but like.
Yeah.
behind-
So usually if we have something like a little bit of a hill like this, you put a pillbox on top of that because it has a very wide range of fire. And that's where you'd set up those big giant machine guns that we were looking at,
Oh, yeah.
so you could defend that position a lot easier. They were made out of concrete because those could deflect small arms bullets like the machine gun bullets we were just looking at, but also tank shells in some instances, okay? So it was very, very hard to take these out. Flamethrowers were brought into the picture, and what did we say earlier about what flames do to air?
Catch it on fire.
It catches it on fire. Okay, so if you stick one of those flamethrowers inside of a building, it starves that entire room of oxygen. And what do we think happens to everything that's inside?
Can't breathe.
Dies.
You can't breathe, okay, you die, what else? That's
You
big
get
too.
burned
There's
alive.
no oxygen.
You get burned alive.
If you guys ever watch a movie called Saving Private Ryan, this is shown to great effect in like the
Yeah.
first 30 minutes of the movie. All right, highly recommend that movie when you guys are a little bit older. Okay, now we've kind of gone over that. In World War I, this was much more prominent, but chemical warfare, all right?
Oh, yes.
So there were 3 different types of gases that were kind of employed, and then in World War II during the Holocaust, one of these was used as well. Chlorine gas was first introduced in 1915, all right? Chlorine is what we put in swimming pools to kind of sterilize them. When it turns into a gas form, it is very, very, very toxic, okay? The other one, mustard gas, it causes severe burns. I did not include any pictures of that because it's icky, okay? But what it would do is when it got into your lungs, it would literally rip them apart because the gas is so toxic, okay? Phosgene was the most deadly, okay? It basically makes your skin kind of melty melt, all right? And it also makes you start coughing up your own lungs, okay?
Which one? The last one.
Phosgene.
Okay.
So that was employed by the Germans. Now, who do we think was the first person to actually use poison gas? Because we have America. Okay, that's a guess. Huh?
Yes.
Europe. Okay, it is a country in Europe.
Germany.
Germany. Okay. It was actually the French who first employed. Yeah, see? It was actually the French who used chlorine gas. All right, they were the first ones to actually use this poison gas. Phosgene was imposed by the Germans, and mustard gas was used by both sides as well. This is where we start to see gas masks become essential equipment. And do you guys remember when I brought in that gas mask a really long time ago to school?
Yeah.
That's an example of a World War. You weren't here yet. I'll bring you back. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right. So those became standard issue for every single soldier on the battlefield, and that was between World War I and World War II because of the fact that this was so effective against soldiers. Okay. There were over 1.3 million gas casualties during World War I alone.
I was just about to say that's just alone.
So, why would we use gas? Does anybody have any idea? Okay, to weaken the immune.
To kill them faster.
Okay, to kill them faster.
Like their vision so that they would see.
Oh, to blind the enemy. Okay.
Well, they would use gas, particularly in the way because they're not putting themselves in harm's way.
Okay. Good.
And it's making them safer,
Mhm.
and it's a more controlled space of whether you're throwing it at the enemy and they're getting affected, but you're not,
Mhm.
and we have less casualties on our end.
Okay, as long as the wind stays in the same
Exactly.
direction. So, this is what it would look like when they release these big giant gas clouds. So right here is your friendly trench line, all right? And they would release these big giant canisters about this big around, all right? Full of this gas. It would cause a chemical reaction, and it would send these gas clouds down to the other end. Now, does anybody know kind of like how a trench works for a defensive position? Do you need me to explain that?
Dug under it, kind of?
Okay, yeah, it's dug down into the ground. So if you're covered right here by a trench, you can't get shot, okay?
But the gas can still get in there.
It can get in there because it's heavier than air.
It is. So
That
it
is the
more
big
places.
thing. So not only would this get down into the trenches, it would get down into the pillboxes. It would kill everything if you didn't have a gas mask, all right?
How did they make the gases?
They just took different chemicals and placed them together and caused a chemical reaction. So they knew what kind of, that's why you can't mix bleach and, I can't remember the other thing, probably better that way. But basically when you're mixing, that's why you're not supposed to mix cleaning supplies like when you're cleaning your bathroom, because of the fact that it will actually actively like poison you over time, okay? So this is kind of what it looks like in World War I. I'm really sad I forgot my World War II gas masks because they don't look like this, but they're basically like these big giant leather masks with a tube going down in here with a little bit of filter, all right? This is World War I. This is like the innovation of the time. This is the most advanced technology they got on the
They look a
battlefield.
little cute.
No, they
They
didn't.
look like
I always thought they looked like mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see. All right. So, two of the big things that come out of World War I that really, really, really affect World War II. All right. That is artillery and aviation, okay? So aviation has to do with planes, all right? What do we think planes could be used for on an open battlefield? Bombing, okay. Shooting, all right. Okay.
Dropping stuff from
Suppressing
there.
fire.
Suppressing fire, very good, awesome, really, really good. Huh?
Dropping things from fire from up high onto the.
Good. I'll actually bring up a specific example of that.
Oh, God.
And then artillery. Does everybody know what artillery is?
No.
No?
Yeah.
They are heavy. Wow, that's crazy. Yes, very good.
Longer range.
With long range. So everybody's seen a cannon before, right?
Yeah.
Think a cannon, but bigger and
Oh.
more accurate. All
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
And I'll show you a video in just a split second. Okay. So big thing with airplanes. They can do recon, all right? If you're over a battlefield and you want to know what the enemy has, you could be looking over and be like, oh, they have tanks. Oh, there's a pillbox. Oh, there's artillery, all right? Other big thing, aerial bombardment, all right? But in World War I, there's a big difference between the bombs that they use compared to the ones that were put on the World War II planes, and we'll look at that too. And then fighter combat as well. This is where we get people like the Red Baron, all right? He was an ace fighter pilot. Does anybody know what an ace is?
Really good fire.
Wait,
Ice.
that sounds familiar. Nope, can't think of it, but it sounds familiar.
Okay, good, all right. Any thoughts,
A
An
really good
ace?
pilot.
Huh?
A really good pilot.
A really good pilot, all right? So an ace is basically someone who has shot down 12 or more planes, all right, and has never lost a plane before, okay? So ace pilots are very, very sought after because of the fact that they're so deadly in air-to-air combat. Artillery can shoot big giant shells that are about yay big. And when we look at battleships in a little bit later, those shells are about yay big, and they're shot out of 13-inch guns.
Oh.
So here is a video of, or at least a picture of World War I. So all of these are trails from the artillery being fired back and forth on each position because everybody's trying to take over each other, all right? And then in World War II, we see these to great effect against defenses as well as cities
Oh.
like Paris.
Oh
Okay.
no.
There was one massive big artillery piece that was made by Germany in World War II, and it could shoot a shell over 8 miles
Oh.
and hit Paris.
Oh.
So here is a video of a World War I artillery piece.
Dang.
Now these are one of the earlier models of artillery, so they're a lot less accurate and they're a lot less effective than the ones in World War II. I was not able to get a picture in time to show you like a World War II piece, but they are
Talking about
massive.
the German Gustav gun.
Yeah, that's a good example. Good. But then these would also be adapted into anti-aircraft guns, all right? These big giant cannons that could take planes out of the sky.
Oh yeah, those kind of fucking.
These are examples of World War I planes. Notice all the sails here,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Or at least the wings. And we got one little machine gun right here that would fire in between the propeller. Compared to,
It's a history thing.
oh, and here's a picture of a World War I bomb. But before they even developed
I
bombs,
should throw it down there.
yeah,
By heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
before they could even build bombs like this, they used to use hand grenades.
Is this thing heavy? This thing
And
is
they have
heavy.
to-
They're about 20 pounds, 30 pounds,
Ah,
all right?
I thought.
But in World War II, these bombs would go up to almost 500-pound bombs,
Oh.
500-kilogram bombs, and eventually even the atomic bomb, all right? Big, giant, hulking bombs. But before they had these, they had what were called trench darts, okay? Trench darts are about that big. They're made of steel, and you would drop them over a trench line and basically use them like arrows
Oh.
to impale everything in between those trenches, okay?
Everyone and
We stopped
everything.
using those in World War II because we like bombs more.
He said, nah.
Now this is an example of a World War II fighter. This is my favorite. This is called a Warhawk, all right? If you notice right here,
Oh, yeah.
What do we think those are?
Bombs.
Guns.
Guns.
Uh-huh.
They are
Yeah,
guns.
that's a 50 caliber.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
Bombs on the
So we have six. We have 6 50 caliber machine guns on this compared to one singular machine gun that were on
3
the
on
other
each
ones.
side.
And then usually they'd have a 20 mil right here as well, and those shells are about yay big.
Oh.
Okay, big advancements. Now this is a recon plane. All right, remember how we were talking about reconnaissance?
Yeah.
This is just one American example of a recon plane, but this was also a heavy fighter. All of these big giant guns up at the front, and all of these are enemy kills on this one plane
Dang.
for the Japanese.
For the
What is that?
Against the Japanese.
Oh.
Oh, that was the
Mhm.
one.
Dang.
Bombing of Pearl Harbor.
I-
Start.
These ones started to come out in 1943, 1944.
We had more succession on aerial fighting than actual ground combat because we got more deaths on our side than
Mhm.
the actual Japanese. I think it was like the differ of like every time we killed somebody it was worth about 5 to us
Mhm.
as Americans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there are a couple of honorable mentions, and this is like the kind of end of our thing here. All right. So, tanks. The difference in World War I tanks to World War II tanks is night and day. World War I tanks were basically tractors with a whole bunch of armor on them. Okay. World War II tanks were built for the specific purpose of destroying other tanks, as well as infantry. Okay. So, other big one, dreadnoughts and battleships. Okay, these were kings of the sea. Think like the pirate ships you would usually look at from the 1700s, and just turn them into metal with big giant hulking turrets on them. And I'll show you a couple of pictures of those. So, this is an example of a World War I German tank. What do we notice about this?
There's a
It's
bomb.
huge.
Okay, one at a time, one at a time.
It's huge.
It's big, okay?
It looks like a trash can.
It looks like a trash can, yes.
There's about 4 to 5 guns in there.
There's 4 to 5 guns on there, awesome.
It looks like it's turned into like camouflage or something.
Yes, this is actually one of the
She's
first
right.
instances of camouflage we have ever seen like on an open
Is
battlefield.
this
It doesn't have wheels, so it can go over any.
It's a belt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can go over
it's
any.
a track.
Yeah.
Very good.
wasn't this like one of the first like actual positive and strong like tanks there was at the time? Like I think Germany
Yes.
did make the strongest tank at
Mhm.
the time. I think it was like the
It was one of the most reliable.
Yeah.
Okay. The crews in these would go anywhere from 10 people to 15 people.
Oh.
All right. These things were massive. There's actually only 2 of these left in the entire world,
Really?
and this is one of them. But these right here, do we remember machine guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These were a different type of World War I machine gun. What do we think this big one at the front
It's
is?
a
20 millimeter.
tank gun.
It's a big anti-tank gun. It's a field gun, okay? So keep this picture in mind when we are looking at the World War II tank. What do we notice with this one?
There's only one. There's only
It's
one.
smaller.
It's
Yeah,
smaller, okay? What else do we
I mean,
notice?
still like those kind of have wheels, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
A little
Yeah.
bit,
And
but
like
it's still
the-
a
It's got the big
track.
tracks, but then we also have the wheels, all right? What else?
It
There's-
shows the visible part of where the person goes in.
Yeah.
Yes,
very
okay, it's
good.
got hatches.
they got
Yes.
It looks like it could go for more heavy duty people.
Okay,
It does.
very good. It's a
It
little
has
bit higher
a-
off the ground, so it could go over more.
It
How
goes
big do we
over-
think the crew is in this?
2 people.
8 people,
3 people.
3
Yeah, no.
people.
4.
There's like 5 people in here, okay?
I was like 3.
So you have the driver
I was 2.
right here. You have the support gunner. You have a loader. You have the commander, and then the gunner as well. Okay.
Yeah,
So tank crews, kind of in World War II, were either a little bit larger or a little bit smaller, just depending on the tank that you were in. This is called a Tiger. All right. What do we notice about the gun here? Is it smaller or bigger than that first one?
Bigger.
Bigger. Okay. What about right here? What do we think this little peephole is?
To see
go.
where the target is.
Okay,
No.
good. It's a good guess. It's a machine gun port.
oh yeah, I
So-
said gun thing.
What else do we notice about this right here? Because this can,
It's a
It's
it's a
moving.
rotational.
Yeah.
it rotates very good. If you look at this one can only go from like here to here. This one can go in 360 degrees. This was probably one of the biggest innovations for a tank out there, because if you have an enemy to your side, you can just turn your turret to the side and shoot them, okay? Instead of having to turn the entire tank to the side, right? So, this is an example of a dreadnought, okay? These things were built to kill other ships, all right?
Literally.
They have these big, giant anti-ship guns on the side. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a couple small ones up there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And
11.
multiply that on the opposite side. So these had upwards of like 30 guns,
Yeah, I was
okay?
just gonna say about 30 guns.
We actually still have one of these today, and it's in Texas. It's the USS Texas. They just finished remodeling everything. So we still have one of these, okay?
Only one.
This is a World War II battleship. Okay,
Oh.
we'll look at the.
Get out of here.
Bro. There's about 30 guns going off on that thing.
That's really cool.
So this is an Iowa class battleship. Okay, so think of the Texas. All right, like that little dreadnought from World War One,
But bigger.
but bigger. It's its bigger brother. Okay, it's his younger brother, but it's its
But big.
bigger brother. Okay.
There's about 6 guns on front, probably
Mhm.
some in the back.
Yep. There's 9 16-inch guns. Okay, that is 16 inches across. That is the diameter of the shell that is being fired out of these.
Oh, yeah, someone can get killed too much anything with that thing.
Mm-hmm. So these were used against other ships as well as on beach landings. Okay, because if all your buddies are going onto the beach and they're facing machine guns, artillery, this, that, or otherwise, all of these shells are firing, and they're about yay big, and they weigh about 200 pounds
Oh, yeah.
each.
Um,
The
that ship-
ammunition packets that they have are about 33 pounds each.
Oh,
Okay? All right. So that's kind of the end of our little presentation here. Do we have any questions? No?
I
No?
think everything is like clear and very information.
Great.
Oh,
So glad.
but there's a
Okay.
one question I do.
Yes.